Hello and welcome to another Baggie Brothers video. We're talking all things album and we're very, very lucky to be joined by Tom, aka BaggiesBulletin. Welcome to the channel again.
How's it going, guys? Thank you very much for having me on again.
Thank you for joining us. And as mentioned in our last video, we're going to be talking about all the ins and outs of our latest transfer window. 5 players in, 5 players out. Seems to have worked quite nicely. Let's start, I guess, no offense to the player, but probably in a position we're not too fussy about, but that third choice keeper, obviously Jonathan Bond, we sold to LA Galaxy. I mean, he didn't really obviously make many appearances for us, but we've brought in Andrew Lonergan, just a like for like, that third choice,
basically
backup, really, isn't it?
Yeah, basically that's what I think. Just to basically get him in, and he's just there in case one injured keeper gets injured. He's there on the bench, isn't he? Basically, instead of throwing a young puppy into it. We've obviously got Alex Palmer, haven't we, out on loan at Lincoln, doing really well. So he'll come back next season. But yeah, it's one of them.
it just kind of come out the blue as well, didn't it? We were like waiting for other deals, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, they've brought in Lonergan. But yeah, Bond was kind of, he's still quite young, isn't he, goalkeeper terms? So I think
early 30s.
It was the right move for him, wasn't it, to go out there and get some first team football in LA. It's not
get the money as well. Yeah,
not the worst place to go,
moving to LA, it's not the worst thing in the world, is it?
Yeah.
So
West Bromwich over to LA. Can't think of many players that would go, no, I'm all right, I'll stay in Birmingham.
Yeah, so fair play to him, I say. Well done.
Yeah, completely. In terms of our first load of midfielders in, let's talk with obviously the guy that we got quite early on, Robert Snodgrass, experienced Scottish international, and he's pretty much come straight into the first team. I feel like since he's been with us, there's definitely been a sort of change in the way we are as a team. I mean, how do you boys feel about him as a signing? In terms of obviously the experience he brings and whatnot.
Yeah, well, I think he's done quite well, and we've still had kind of mixed performances, haven't we, since he came in? But the games where we obviously beat Wolves and we put in a good performance against West Ham and drew against Fulham, I thought he's played quite well in. Well, he didn't play in the West Ham game. There was all that blooming palaver, wasn't there, about the dodgy deal behind the scenes and all that. But in the Wolves game and the Fulham game, I thought he played quite well, and I think he looks like he's going to be a good player for us, doesn't he, for the rest of the season? He seems to have fit in quite quickly, and I've been quite impressed when he was brought into centre midfield against Fulham. I thought when he switched it about, he played in the middle, didn't he, in the second half, and he played quite well. And I thought he did okay against Sheffield United as well, to be honest. I thought he was one of our better players, to be honest. So, he looks like he's going to be a useful addition, to be fair. I've been quite impressed.
Yeah, he's very consistent. Obviously, like you say, he's got loads of experience to his name. And yeah, I think him sort of fitting into that centre mid seems to be the sort of right place for him, maybe, in terms of how he can influence the team in the game for us, as opposed to like squeezing him out on the wing. What do you think, Ads?
I don't know. I reckon now we've obviously bought OK and which we're going to come on to in a minute, and Maitland-Niles, who want to play in the centre of the midfield. I think Snodgrass could do a job out on the wing for us and get those quality balls in for Diagne in the centre up top. Get some quality balls into the box and make him a real threat. So I think he has played well when he's played in centre mid. I think no one like Sawyers or someone like that didn't have that role nailed on and was playing amazing week in, week out. Even Livermore, neither of them have played well there. He's gone in and played really well there, I think, shown his quality above those two. But I think now he might be pushed back out onto that wing just to get those quality balls into the box. But it's just my thought.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I think he's been moved into the middle because obviously Sawyers hasn't been playing well and Livermore hasn't been playing too much better either. I think he's just tried to mix things up and brought Snodgrass into the middle whilst he tries and brings these new guys in. So yeah, I agree. I think we'll see him probably moved out wide now. We've got some, some decent additions in the middle of the park.
Yeah. Well, speaking of obviously a few of the people that are going out as well. Obviously, we terminated our loan deal with Kravinovic.
Yeah,
one of the boys that obviously was pretty important in us coming up. and one of the first people Bilic signed. How, thoughts on his loan being terminated? I mean, he wasn't really making he wasn't making a huge impact. He wasn't breaking into the team.
I think the problem was, I think the problem was Bilic brought him in and he got him in late, didn't he? He didn't get him in right at the start when he wanted him. So that means he was late getting up to speed with the fitness in the squad. I mean, around the squad, the morale by the looks of it, he brings the whole team up. He's one of those characters like a Snodgrass that will lift that dressing room. But yeah, since Sam's come in, he's obviously Bilic is signing him, and Sam just obviously doesn't fancy him, does he at all? By the looks of it, which is why we've got rid of him to free up a space for another loan to get in.
Yeah. I upset a few people at the start of the season because I think he did okay for us last season in the Championship, Kravinovic. I think, he had some great games, but I think he was quite inconsistent. And when there was talk that they wanted 9 million, up front for him, I wasn't too keen. I was happy to obviously bring him in on loan and see how he did in the Premier League. But even under Bilic, who was obviously desperate to bring him in, he didn't really play too much, did he? So, and then, when Allardyce come in, I thought, he's not going to be a Allardyce kind of player. He's a little bit lightweight, isn't he? Not very tall either. So, no. I didn't think Allardyce would favour him, and that turned out to be the case. So, I wasn't too fussed, to be honest. But the big disappointment was, like you said, you touched on it. He just seemed like a really nice guy. He got on brilliantly with the fans. He was engaging with the fans, wasn't he, last season on social media as well. So, for that reason, I was, a bit disappointed to see him go. But in terms of what he can do on the pitch and as a player, I wasn't too fussed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's Pereira's best mate as well, so.
Yeah, I think more people were concerned as to whether it was going to upset Pereira. Yeah. But everyone was like, is Pereira going to be okay? Kravinovic is gone. I said, well, he's only going to Nottingham. It's not a million miles away, is it?
It's only down the road. They can still be mates.
Yeah, he's probably still living in the same place, isn't he? So,
next guy that obviously we got in was the big man up top, Mbaya Diagne or Dianga. I still don't quite know how to say that surname. It's annoying me as well because I want to get it right.
Well, I was saying the same as you, but then they were saying Diagne on the commentators were saying Diagne, so I don't know.
Mbaya.
Yeah.
We'll just call him by his first name. So obviously, we've got him in on loan from Galatasaray, and he looked pretty solid over in the Turkish league. Seems like he was banging in goals. But I did see a couple of things, a couple of fans sort of commenting on like what he was like as a person around the squad, and always seemed to be a bit of a problem. But the 2 games that we've had him, obviously had a great debut, getting that assist, and then the second game technically got an assist as well. Yeah. Should have probably buried it from where he was, but I think he's had a pretty decent start. Are we happy with the signing? He seems like the right striker that Allardyce wants.
Yeah, 100%. I was on my page. I was a few times. I said I wasn't too keen on him from what I'd read. He sounds like he's a bit of a controversial character, and he's played for a hell of a lot of clubs. And I always think that's always a bit of a worrying sign when you see someone who's 29 and he's played for like absolutely tons of clubs already.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too keen at first, but I was really impressed with his second half against Fulham. He obviously changed the game for us completely, didn't he? And then I thought he did well against Sheffield United. You can see that he's going to take a bit of time to get attuned to playing in the Premier League. There was a few times he held onto the ball a little bit too long, wasn't there? Yeah. And he was maybe expecting a bit more time and he was closed down. But I still think, especially in that first half, he was quite effective. And obviously he played a big part in the goal we scored. He played the 1-2, I think, with Snodgrass in the middle, and then he followed it up. Like you said, he should have buried it. Keeper made a smart save. But I've been really impressed from what I've seen so far. And like you said, he looks just like a perfect Allardyce striker, doesn't he? Big target man, hold the ball up, decent in the air. So he looks like he's going to be a good sign as well, to be fair.
Yeah, let's hope he can bag a fair few goals. What are your thoughts on him, Mads?
It's exactly like Tom just said. That's a Sam Allardyce screaming out player, big target man who can hold the ball up, who's an aerial threat, who can bring players into play, which is what we haven't had. Robson Kanu is probably our only option for that, and he wasn't that great at it, is he? He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. But he is. He's massive, isn't he? He's like 6'3".
He's huge.
So it's
He's a big
another
guy, isn't he?
but it's another aerial threat in the box as well for set pieces, isn't it? We've obviously got a Jay. We've got quite a big squad now, which is going to help us at set pieces, which is where we're going to score goals, I think, more than anywhere else. So good signing.
And then obviously sort of leaving us as a striker, Charlie Austin's gone back to QPR on loan, which seems like a good move for him, to be honest. You know, I think he was, especially, you know, I sort of have memories of last season. He was getting a bit frustrated not being a regular and getting subbed on or being a sub. And I don't know. I think it's a good move for him as well. He's gone back to a club that obviously he enjoyed playing at, and you know,
I think it's a number 9 role, isn't it? As soon as they don't get them games to where they will be scoring goals, which is what they love doing, they get the hump a bit, don't they? Because that's what they've done all their career. They've been that number 9 who will go and score goals. And he's obviously done that at QPR already, and he looks really happy to have gone back there. He's already bagged a couple of goals as well, hasn't he? So, and I think that's, not to be harsh, but I think that's his level now. I think he's lost that yard or two of pace for the Prem. But Championship, he'll still be able to do a job in there, which is proven.
Yeah, I agree. I was about to say the same thing, that I think, you know, kind of mid-table, bottom half Championship team is probably his level now, isn't it? I think he obviously was in and out of the team for us last season in the Championship. You know, he did score some important goals for us, to be fair. But I think that's his level at this moment in time. And it was a good move for him. He was fantastic for QPR last time round, wasn't he? So the fans were buzzing to have him back. But fair play to him. I hope he does well.
Yeah, no, I think, like you say, he helped us a lot last year, and let's hope he, plays for a few more years, stays at QPR and does well for them. The two other midfielders that we got in on deadline, we got Akaya Kuslu. Yeah, again, I'm going to struggle with surnames. Akaya Kuslu from Celta Vigo on loan, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles on loan from Arsenal. I mean, out of all of our transfers, I'm definitely the most excited about seeing what Maitland-Niles is going to be like for us. You know, he's played, he's an England international, and he's coming from an Arsenal squad, and I think Yokozlu is obviously going to be good for us as well. But thoughts on those two coming in on the on deadline day?
Go on, Tom.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as you, Dan. I was just like, I didn't think we were going to be able to bring Maitland-Niles in, to be honest. When I saw that Southampton, Leicester, was there someone else linked?
Newcastle.
Yeah. When I saw all these teams were interested in him as well, I didn't think we had a chance. And it was early on deadline day in the morning. I remember there was a story saying it was done. It was dead in the water. He wasn't coming.
Yeah.
And but then I think fair play to him. I think he wants to go to a team and play every game because he's got ambitions of obviously getting in the England squad for the Euros. Is it Euro? Yeah, Euros.
Yeah, but Euros.
And I think Allardyce obviously said, look, you join us, you can play in your favourite position. You're going to play every week. And to be fair to lad, he's thought, look, that's what I want. I might not get as much game time with these other teams, especially Leicester and Southampton, who are having quite good seasons. So, and I was really, really pleased that he seems like he's got a good attitude, doesn't he? That was his thought process with the move, was to, he just wants to play football in his favoured position. So it looks like we were quite lucky in terms of it fell into place for us, didn't it? But there was obviously still a lot of work to do behind the scenes to convince him to come. But I was really kind of impressed with that addition, to be fair. Because like I said, I didn't think it was going to happen, to be honest. But fair play. Yeah. Great news.
Yeah, same here. I mean, Maitland-Niles, like I say, is England international. And I think he said that he wants to play in his preferred role, which is centre mid, because he wants to get in that England team, like you said. So Sam's promised him that. So we know that he's going to be starting centre mid for us every game. And the other nice thing as well, from a young aspiring footballer, he wants to have a fight. He wants to try and keep us up, which is brilliant, I think, from an attitude, because a lot of them could just, I'll just sit on the bench at Arsenal and earn whatever he's earning a week. But he actually wants to go out there and fight for us, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's brilliant, because, look, it's a very good chance we're going down, isn't there? And, he could have been put off by coming to us and having a relegation you know, on his CV kind of thing. But like you said, the fact that he just wants to come and play football and try and help us out and play every week, that's been the overriding factor in his decisions. And it's great to see. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to see what he can do for us. I think he's you know, he's going to be an exciting player to watch for us, isn't he? I'm really looking forward to him getting in the mix.
Yeah, him and Gallagher in the middle.
Yeah, I was about to say him and Gallagher tearing forward. I think that could be quite a threat.
With the other new boy, Yukuzlu sitting behind.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, he reminds, from what I've not seen much of him, if I'm completely honest, but what I've seen on YouTube, he's a bit of a Jakob player. He'll sit just in front of the back four and he'll break that play up. So, which is again exactly what we all said we needed when we did our first video, wasn't it? We need a holding midfielder that's going to do that. So yeah, again, great bit of work if he can come straight in and hit the ground running.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, we haven't really ever. I was trying to think. We haven't really ever replaced Jakob. I can't really think of just that kind of 100% defensive midfielder, just a guy who just sits. He just loves to tackle and get stuck in and win the ball and just kind of move it on as quickly as possible. So yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'd not heard of the guy when we first got linked, but then the old classic YouTube highlight reels, watched a few of them and read a few articles and stuff, and yeah, he seems like very much in the Jakob mold, doesn't he? So
and he's a Turkish international as well, isn't he?
Well, exactly. He's played a hell of a lot of games for Turkey, and he's only 26, I think, and he's got nearly 50 caps, I think I remember reading. So yeah, you can't be half bad, can you, if you've got that many international caps? Because Turkey have always been a decent international team, haven't they? So yeah, he looks like he's going to be a really good addition as well.
And then you know, going on to the outs as well, I suppose. The last two outs that we had as well, Sam Field and Raheem Harper, both going out on loan, one to Birmingham City, one to QPR. Probably could see that one coming, seeing as he was bringing in midfielders as well. You know, as far as, you know, not to obviously, you know, poo-poo the two new players that have come, because, you know, keen to see what they're going to bring to us, and if they help keep us up, amazing. But it would have been nice to have seen them given a bit more of a chance, possibly before they'd been pinged out on loan. But I think both of them will do really well for both of those clubs. The only one that's maybe a tad concerning is the Sam Field one, as there's an option to buy him at the end of the loan for QPR, which seems.
Yeah. I think that would upset quite a lot of Albion fans, because a few of us still wanted to see him have a go in the Prem and still slot in, because I think he could do a job. I mean, he played some games early on for us and he didn't look out of place to me. I think it was Chelsea, I think he played against, and someone else. But yeah, he came on and he didn't look out of place at all.
Well, he played in the Prem for us when we were up the last time. And he had, I think it was Gareth Barry in midfield next to him, or possibly Darren Fletcher as well. He might have been that kind of crossover, who are obviously good influences on him. It'd have been nice to have seen him, sort of brought into the squad, but obviously not to be.
Yeah, I was disappointed. It's a tough one with Field, isn't it? Because I think he's just been very unfortunate with injuries. Yeah. He went out on loan to Charlton. Was it Charlton last season? Charlton, he went out on loan. Yeah. And he was, from what I was reading and from what I'd seen, he was doing really well for them. And then he picked up another injury, came back, and yeah, it's just been a bit stop-start, hasn't it, his career? And yeah, I was of the same opinion. I was disappointed to see that there's an option for QPR to make the deal permanent. But I was chatting to someone and they made a good point about him, in that, because I was the same as you, Ed. Whenever I've seen him play, I've always thought there's potential there and he's got ability. But there's been a lot of managers now that he's obviously played under, and they've seen him in training and they've not fancied him. Yeah. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, you know, there's been a lot of people who haven't really fancied him and given him a good run of games. And is there a reason behind that? Possibly. And for the club to, I can't imagine we're getting too big a transfer fee from QPR. For the club to let him go, and what is he, 23? I think. They obviously don't think he's capable of turning into that top player, I guess. So yeah,
the only thing that concerned me on that was, though, if he did move to QPR on a permanent deal, we've obviously got Maitland-Niles going back to Arsenal. We've got obviously the other lad going back to Turkey or wherever he come from, South Vigo, that was it.
Yeah.
So there's 2 players we're losing immediately. And Gallagher as well to Chelsea. So
that's 3 midfielders gone.
Obviously, Harper's coming back from Birmingham, hopefully. I don't know if there was a buy option on his one.
I don't think there was. No,
I think it was just a loan. So, but yeah, that's 3 midfielders, centre midfielders out, and then we've obviously got just the one coming back in potentially, which leaves us a bit thin, which means we're going to have to recruit there in the summer if we do go down and we can't get those boys in on a permanent deal.
Yeah, we're going to be definitely short, aren't we? Because even if we somehow miraculously stay up this season, there might be a chance of Gallagher coming in on loan again, possibly, and maybe signing the Turkish chap permanently. But I don't think there'll be much chance of us getting Maitland-Niles, even back on loan probably. So, yeah, we're going to be short, aren't we, in midfield, regardless of what division we're in next season. So, no, yeah, I agree. I was disappointed when I first heard that Field he's most likely going to be going. I think I read something today actually that he's just really keen on a new opportunity, and he's already said apparently he's keen on making the deal permanent at the end of the season. So yeah,
it's a minute because he's one of our own, and he's all. I think every Albion fan's got a little soft spot for him, haven't they? Because you can sing it at the stadium, can't you, and stuff like that. But yeah, if it's his career at the end of the day, isn't it? If he's not going to get the football with us, then like we said in the last,
might as well go and get it from somewhere that actually wants him. Yeah,
exactly that.
Here's a tricky one. The overall thoughts, though, all our ins, all our outs. Are we happy with the general deals? I think you can definitely tell that there's been an improvement with the ones that we've brought in. We've obviously spoken about the youngsters going out on loan, but overall thoughts. Think it's going to have a big positive effect, or
gone Tom?
Yeah, definitely. I've been impressed with who we've managed to bring in. To be honest with you, I was starting to get a little bit concerned, kind of going into the last week, because Allardyce had come out and he said a few things that he was getting a bit anxious, and it might only be 1 or 2 brought in, wasn't he? There was a few interviews, and so yeah, when the window closed at 11 p.m. and obviously we discussed all the players we managed to bring in, I was over the moon. I think they're definitely going to improve us 100%. I think once they've had a couple of games and settled in a few training sessions, and I definitely think we'll see an improvement in performance. But it's like I said, isn't it? It's the next question is it too late? Have we left it too late to bring these guys in to try and help us out? But yeah, we won't know, will we? Obviously, until the end of the season, we can come back and discuss it then. But yeah, it's definitely improved our chances of staying up, I think, 100%.
I think, yeah, like you say, it's kind of, if it's too late, if they help us put in a good fight between now and the end of the season, and if we get relegated with dignity, then that's a good thing for me. If they keep us up, they are the greatest. It's the greatest managerial decisions in a West Brom history, and Sam can stay. But
all hail King Sam.
All hail King Sam, and brilliant. Keep him forever. Keep extending that contract. But yeah. I can't imagine that's going to be the case. But yeah, I know I'm personally very pleased with all the guys coming in. Like you say, I guess Maitland-Niles is kind of the big one that I'm excited to see play for us, and hopefully he can be a big impact on us. Final thoughts, Ads?
The only thing that you put it in my head the other day when we finished our video about maybe looking at getting a defender in. When you look back on it, should we have maybe thought about that? Because that's where we have been weak. But then, because I was thinking about it so much, I thought, well, I think Townsend's going to come in, and I thought he was really positive first half. I thought it was a much better improvement on Gibbs, has been anyway. Second half, you could tell he was lacking match fitness. But at that right back, Furlong and O'Shea just don't seem to be able to. They're just too inconsistent, aren't they? I think.
I guess Maitland-Niles can slide to that right back.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah, Maitland-Niles. Worst case, I know he said he wants to play centre mid, but if we did have injuries at the back, we've always got him that could. He can play a lot of positions, can't he? Which is another good reason for getting him in. He can play out wide, he can play in the middle, and he can play in defence. So, yeah, I think that transfer is the one I'm most excited about as well.
Let's hope they all help us out for the rest of the season. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, I guess we'll leave that one there. And we'll have a chat at the end of the season, like you say, and just see how effective they actually were. Thank you very much for watching. Please click subscribe and the like button because that helps us out. All our socials are on the screen. You've got us for the Baggie Brothers. You've got Baggies Bulletin as well on the screen. And I guess we will see you next time. Cheers, guys.